Sober Girls Yoga by the Mindful Life Practice. Hi yogis, and welcome back to Intuitive. This is your 10-class Yin series designed to help you get deep into the yamas, niyamas, and your tissues and ligaments, releasing stress from the body, from the mind. Today's practice revolves around Aparigraha, which is the practice of letting go. So I want to invite you to explore what's called Ganesha Mudra. So you're going to bring both of your palms to face each other at heart level, parallel with the earth, and then just grip your fingers together and come into this lock. You can close the eyes and take deep breaths in and out. So Ganesha is the remover of obstacles. And I love this mudra because it's a symbol of holding on. My question for you is, what are you letting go of? What are you practicing letting go of right now? Let's take one more breath with this mudra. And then just gently flicker the eyes open. And we're going to release the mudra and take a big inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. And then just exhale, land your right palm, reach your left arm over to the right. We'll lift up, come all the way through center, and then land your left palm and reach the right palm over to the left. Lift the arms all the way up, and then come into a pivot. So land your left palm, land your right palm, gaze over the right shoulder. And then take an inhale, lift the arms up towards the sky, and then pivot the opposite way. So landing the left palm, landing the right palm, gazing over the left shoulder. And now we're going to come all the way up through center, taking both palms up towards the sky, landing the palms into the heart center. And just do a tiny bit more movement, kind of letting things move through the body before we drop into stillness. I promise it's just a little bit more movement. So we'll come onto the hands and knees and move through a few cat-cows. And then you just choose how you want to move through your body. Maybe you make some spirals. Just do what works for you. Come all the way into a neutral. And then let's tuck our toes, lift our hips all the way up and back, one downward dog. Walk your hands back to meet your feet. Now, this is my absolute favorite yin pose, so I can't believe it took me to class 5 to incorporate it. I do it almost every single Sunday night in my manifestation class. So you might allow your arms to
totally dangle. Maybe gripping opposite elbows. Letting your head go. So I think letting go is one of the most common themes that's talked about and taught about in our yoga practice. And I think the reason why it's so talked about is because it's something that we struggle with so much. Right? When given the choice, we want to hold on way longer. To relationships, to jobs, to communities, right? We hold on because we are afraid of what will happen when letting go. But oftentimes what we receive from letting go can be beautiful. We just have to be courageous enough to open our minds to it. Let's take another round of breath where we are. And then just take an inhale. Halfway lift. And take an exhale, fold. And the next pose that we're going to come into is a yogi squat, a malasana squat. So you can bring your toes out and your heels in and just come to sit down in between your heels. And if your heels are lifted up and they're not quite anchoring, there's lots of options. You can come to sit on a bolster. You could place a bolster underneath your heels. Just choose a variation that you know is going to be comfortable because we are going to be here for about 3 minutes. Letting go is a big theme for me, and it's something that has been so difficult for me that I did a whole yoga series on it. Series 2 was all about letting go. And for me, I am constantly learning how to let go of things that no longer serve me. Let go of people, let go of places, let go of things.
And the thing is that oftentimes when we let go, there is this peace. There is this clarity. There is this ease that comes from creating space where we've once been stuck. What are you holding on to that needs to be released? Stay here for just a few more breaths. You're just going to lift all the way up. If you're sitting on a cushion, gently slide it to the side. You can just gently come all the way into seated. And so for the next practice or the next pose, you're going to lengthen through your right leg. Take your left knee and stack it on the right knee. And now you might stay just like this and fold forward, exactly like this. Or you might kick your left foot back. So it's like a variation of shoelace pose. And then you can stay upright or you can start to walk your hands forward, just choosing what works for you. I think I'm going to stay upright today. So I've told this story before in some of my sessions about being someone who was a hoarder, who held on to stuff. I had a hard time throwing things away, a hard time letting go. And I remember the first time I lived very lightly. And what happened was I moved overseas. I moved to Kuwait when I was 23. You can only take like certain amount of stuff, right? When you go on the plane, unless you're going to ship a bunch of stuff with you overseas, which I wasn't planning to do. And I just remember what it was like to have an empty-ish apartment, like having shelves that were empty, having drawers that were empty, having a bookshelf that was empty. For the first time in my life, I experienced the freedom and the clarity from having little things. And I remember just realizing like there's so much stuff that you think you need. And then when you experience life without it, you're like, wait a second. I actually didn't need that much stuff. And when I lived in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, I mean, I was there for a long time. I was there for 5 years. But by the end of my time there, I had so much stuff I accumulated, right? Furniture, books, records, kitchen utensils, clothing. And at the end, when I was coming to Bali, I was like, I don't need any of this stuff. What am I going to do with all this stuff? I'm just going to ship it down to Bali and then just store it in my house and then ship it to the next place I move to, right? That's It's crazy. We move around the world just carrying our stuff with us, both literally and figuratively. And what would it be like if I let go? And I remember letting go was scary, and I remember letting go was hard, and I felt like I was losing a lot. But the thing is, like, we make up reasons in our head for like, oh, I spent so much money on this furniture, I spent so much money on these books, I spent so much money on these curtains, that I can't leave the Middle East because of how much money I've spent on this stuff. And then we start to wonder, like, why do we as human beings collect so much stuff? What are we hiding from? What are we protecting ourselves from in the stuff? Let's take another breath in, another breath out. And then we're gonna just switch it up. So we'll move to the opposite side. So uncross the legs, land your feet, rock your feet from side to side. And know that if there is discomfort, that it will pass. And then if you're ready, we'll go to the opposite side. So your right leg will go long. Left ankle will cross on top of the right, and then you might kick the foot back. I think I've done this side already, so I'm gonna switch it up. So your left leg goes long, your right leg crosses on top, and then you kick your foot back. Yeah, that feels better. Then lengthen through your heart. Maybe you start to walk your hands forward. You choose what is right for you. So something that one of my yoga teachers mentioned was the idea of what can you give from letting go? Not what can you gain from letting go, but what can you give from letting go? And I love the way that she phrased this to me, and I was reflecting on it because so much of us think about, what can I gain from letting go? What will be the positives of letting go? But when you think about it in the context of think about how much stuff I had in Dubai that I gave away and all the people that benefited from these things, right? Lights, beds, couches, stuff that they needed. And I think sometimes we hold on to stuff because we think that it serves us purpose, but if we're not using it, then can't we let it go and give it to someone else who can use it too? And this can relate to when I think about letting go from one of the hardest relationships I ever let go of. I was married when I was in my 20s. And I just felt so bad, that I was ruining this person's life by breaking their heart, by breaking up with them. And what I realized is that what can I give him by letting go, right? I can give him a beautiful opportunity to fall in love with someone else. That's what I can give from letting go, and that's why letting go benefits not just me, but the people around me, right? Let's take about 5 more deep breaths where you are. just uncross the leg and choose one shape that you want to take. Maybe you come into a crisscross. I'm actually going to come and tuck my toes under and sit my hips back on my heels. So I'm stretching through the soles of the feet. And at the same time, I'm going to do a little bit of an arm stretch. So I'm going to reach my right arm up, land the right palm on the shoulder, and then take the left arm around, and perhaps you weave the hands together. And if you can't quite make that connection, you could also use a yoga strap. You could grab onto your hair. You could grab onto a shirt, whatever works. So maybe you finish the following sentence: I would be lighter if I let go of. What could you let go of? Let's unwind that arm. Switch it up the opposite way. And then come all the way up onto the hands. Lift all the way up and just pedal out the feet. And then for the final posture, we'll come to our dessert. It's like the cake or the cookie after the practice, which is your legs up the wall. And you can extend the arms. Let your whole body release. And bring you back when the time is up. Just choose whether you want to take your meditation in legs up the wall or seated or shavasana, whatever works for you. Now I want to lead you through one of my favorite meditation practices for letting go, and this is a spiritual vacuum meditation that I've seen a few different spiritual teachers lead variations of. Rick Jarrow, Gabby Bernstein. So I want you to imagine as you're sitting here that a vacuum cleaner is coming in and is placed above the crown of your head. You press the power button on and the vacuum cleaner begins to cycle. And it's just clearing you. It's clearing you of all the gossip, all the drama, all the negativity, all the tension, all of the stuff that you need to let go of. It's clearing you. And it's lifting off of you, lifting off of you, lifting off of you. And it's being released up above you. It's being transitioned into outer space. It is releasing. It's gone. The vacuum cleaner just continues to cycle, clearing you, clearing you, clearing you, lifting you, lifting you, lifting you. Up, 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 and it's just releasing, being transformed, being transmuted. Just keep doing it again, cycling through, releasing into outer space above you. And when everything has been emptied from you and you feel like you have been cleared, you can just turn the vacuum cleaner off. Let it float away. Just take a big breath in. Take a big breath out. Just remain here in stillness for a couple of moments. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Give your fingers and toes a little wake up wiggle. Nice long stretch. All the way through the fingertips, all the way through the toes. You can curl your knees into your chest, give your body a sweet little hug. And then just make your way up and over to your seated shape with your palms at your heart center. If you want to, you might take the palms together, wrap the fingers together, coming into your Ganesha Mudra one more time. What are you letting go of? And then take the palms together at heart center. Closing with our intention. It's the ancient intention. It's the original intention passed from heart to heart through thousands of years. And it's that our practice remains steady and our efforts remain continuous. Our yoga helps and heals and serves and benefits all beings everywhere. May all beings be safe. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they be free. May the thoughts and the actions of each of our lives contribute towards this. So let's finish with an Om sound, and we're going to inhale and exhale. Inhale through to make the Om. So take a big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in. Thank you so much, yogis. Thank you for being here, sharing the space and the practice. I'm so grateful for each one of you. Light in me, it sees it, honors the light in you. Thank you, thank you.